There's something special about the 1980s, a decade where bold ideas collided with raw, often unfiltered creativity. Beyond the mainstream blockbusters and iconic franchises, there exists a parallel universe of cinematic oddities, films that dared to be weird, wild, and wholly unforgettable. In today's video, we're diving deep into 5 obscure, underrated, and often overlooked gems from the 80s. Films that might have slipped through the cracks but absolutely deserve a spot on your watch list. If you're a fan of the bizarre, the bold, and beautifully offbeat, make sure to subscribe, tap that like button, and drop a comment below with your favorite obscure film from the 80s. Now, let's peel back the celluloid curtain and dive into the strange. Altered States opens not with a bang, but with a question, one that tunnels deep into consciousness, existence, and the limits of human evolution. Directed by Ken Russell, this film is an auditory and visual fever dream. It follows Dr. Edward Jessup, a psychologist obsessed with exploring alternate states of consciousness through hallucinogenic experiments and sensory deprivation. What begins as scientific curiosity spirals into a metaphysical odyssey that tears apart his identity, both figuratively and quite literally. While it was modestly received at the time, Altered States is an overlooked masterpiece of philosophical science fiction. It doesn't just flirt with psychedelic horror, it dives headfirst into it. Practical effects are astonishing, the themes are dense with existential weight, and William Hurt's performance is raw, cerebral, and deeply unhinged. This isn't comfort food cinema, it's an experience, an intellectual trip that might just change how you think about what it means to be human. Before Hunger Games or Black Mirror critiqued our addiction to spectacle and violence as entertainment, The Running Man sprinted ahead with a chilling prediction of our media future. Arnold Schwarzenegger plays Ben Richards, a wrongly convicted man forced to survive a brutal televised death game. Based loosely on a novel by Stephen King, the film blends dystopian satire with muscle-bound mayhem and neon-soaked 80s aesthetics. Though often dismissed as a B-grade action flick, The Running Man is far sharper than its glossy exterior suggests. It's a media satire masquerading as popcorn violence, forecasting a world where reality TV and authoritarian control go hand in hand. The film's campy production design, cartoonish villains, and absurd gladiatorial showdowns only amplify its eerily prescient social commentary. It's dumb fun on the surface, but underneath lies a surprisingly smart dystopia worth revisiting. David Cronenberg's Videodrome is what happens when body horror meets broadcast signal theory, filtered through a dystopian lens that feels more relevant today than it did in the analog era. James Woods plays Max Wren, a sleazy cable TV executive who discovers a pirated signal broadcasting extreme violence and torture. But the more he watches, the more reality begins to distort and mutate. What follows is a descent into techno-organic madness, complete with pulsating videotapes, stomach orifices, and philosophical musings on perception. This is Cronenberg at his most prophetic. Videodrome isn't just about the dangers of media, it's about our surrender to it. The way screen content merges with the self. Long live the new flesh, indeed. The film's cold aesthetic, grotesque effects, and fractured storytelling may turn off casual viewers, but for those attuned to its frequency, Videodrome is a mind-warping masterwork. In an age of deepfakes and algorithm-driven addiction, this 80s nightmare feels disturbingly present. Now for something completely different. Gymkata is one of those films that defies explanation, a Cold War era action flick where Olympic gymnast Kurt Thomas combines martial arts with gymnastics to infiltrate a fictional Eastern European country. Yes, it's as insane as it sounds. One moment he's flipping off a pommel horse to dispatch henchmen, the next he's navigating a village of the crazies, like a proto-Resident Evil character, perfect form. Objectively speaking, Gymkata is not a good movie, but it is a great cult film. It embraces its absurd premise with such unwavering sincerity that you can't help but respect its commitment. The awkward line delivery, the nonsensical plot, the relentless gymnastics-based combat, it all coalesces into an experience that's too entertaining to ignore. It's a glorious mess, a relic of an era when filmmakers threw darts at a genre wall and hoped for the best. And sometimes they struck gold, even if it was fool's gold. If you crossed Mad Max with Ghost Rider and sprinkled in a bit of teen melodrama, you'd end up with The Wraith. This supernatural revenge thriller stars Charlie Sheen as a mysterious driver that appears in a sleek black car to challenge and annihilate a gang of desert road racers responsible for a young man's death. With its synth-heavy soundtrack, VHS-filtered visuals, and ghostly vengeance plotline, The Wraith is pure 80's pulp, soaked in style and engine grease. Despite its intriguing concept and killer car design, a real-life Dodge M4S prototype, the film barely made a dent on release, but it's developed a devoted cult following over the years, and for good reason. It's one part supernatural horror, one part high-octane revenge flick with a dash of tragic romance. The special effects are practical and inventive, and the whole thing radiates a moody, midnight movie energy that makes it endlessly rewatchable. If you're into haunted hot rods and neon-drenched justice, this one's a must. So there you have it, 5 forgotten films from the 1980s that dared to be different. From the cerebral to the absurd, these cinematic outliers each carved a unique space in the decade's wild creative landscape. And while they may not have topped the box office, their boldness, weirdness, and raw ambition make them all the more memorable. And if you enjoyed this dive into the 80s obscurities, hit that like button, subscribe for more deep-cut film essays, and let me know in the comments which forgotten gem you think deserves a spotlight. Until next time, stay strange, keep watching the weird stuff, and never underestimate the power of a good cult film.